Even though Ukraine's fight against Russia has seemed like a mismatch on paper, the US-made missile systems are proving to be a decisive equalizer on the battlefield. From portable anti-craft weapons to anti-tank and strategic air defense, these diverse munitions have dramatically altered the conflict's trajectory, empowering Ukrainian forces with greater reach, lethality, and adaptability. Let us examine 5 of the most impactful US missile systems, starting with cost-effective solutions and progressing to the not-so-budget-friendly strategic heavy hitters that have been game changers for Ukraine's defense.
Missile away!
BGM-71 TOW Missile, approximately $60,000 to over $150,000 each, over 7,000 units in Ukraine. The BGM-71 TOW missile system has played a persistent role in Ukraine's fight against Russian armor since the war's early days. TOW missiles formed the backbone of ambushes against vulnerable Russian army columns. With their superior range and destructive power, small Ukrainian units effectively stalled Russian offensives. The TOW missile, as the name suggests, is tube-launched and optically tracked.
Yes, that's okay, over.
It is a wire-guided missile manually steered towards its target by the operator. The missile is fired after the weapons operator views a spot on the target with a telescopic sight. The operator keeps following the target through sight. The control system on the missile is connected to the guidance computer via 2 wires that spool out from the back of the missile. A high-intensity thermal beacon is a source for long-wave infrared tracking on the missile, while a xenon beacon provides short-wave tracking. This dual tracking technology offers increased resilience to infrared and electro-optical countermeasures. In the modern version, the ATGM has a sighting kit that combines a thermal sight and a laser rangefinder. One of the key advantages of the TOW missile is its versatility. It can be installed on military vehicles as a single-tube pedestal mount, or as 2-tube or 4-tube under-armor systems. TOW anti-tank missiles are more lethal than Javelins, Stugners, or NLAW anti-tank missiles because they can penetrate up to 35 inches of RHA, or rolled homogeneous armor. Their wire-guided accuracy and top attack mode make TOW well suited to urban combat. Ukrainian forces use these extensively to engage tanks in built-up areas, particularly in the defense of cities like Kiev. FIM-92 Stinger missile, $120,000 to $150,000 per unit, over 2,000 units in Ukraine.
There you go, hold. You gotta hold it.
Many pieces of military hardware from the Cold War era that were thought to be obsolete were given a chance to prove themselves and find a new field of use during the Ukrainian-Russian conflict. The Stinger Manpad, a veteran of the Soviet-Afghan War, was deployed again to fight the Russians. The Stinger's primary purpose is to provide infantry units with a highly portable and effective means to engage and destroy enemy aircraft. As a result, it has played a significant role in the evolution of modern warfare, enabling smaller forces to challenge the air superiority of their adversaries. One of the key advantages of the Stinger missile is its ease of use. The entire system weighs approximately 35 pounds, making it highly portable and suitable for infantry use. It consists of three primary components: the missile itself, the launch tube, and the Identification Friend or Foe, or IFF, interrogator. The Stinger is propelled away from the operator by a small ejection motor before the main two-stage solid fuel sustainer is engaged. This causes the Stinger to accelerate to a maximum speed of Mach 2.54. The missile's high-explosive annular blast fragmentation, or HEABF, warhead is designed to maximize damage to aircraft by targeting their most vulnerable components, such as engines, fuel tanks, and control surfaces. Also, the Stinger missile features a proximity fuse that detonates the warhead when it comes within a predetermined distance of the target. This increases the likelihood of damaging or destroying the target, even if the missile does not score a direct hit. In the early invasion phases, Russia sought to establish air superiority for rapid advances. Ukraine's widespread use of Stingers was devastating, targeting low-flying helicopters and jets conducting bombing and strafing runs. Ukrainian soldiers could ambush helicopters transporting troops or provide close air support for ground forces. The psychological impact was considerable. Russian pilots became far more cautious and less effective when supporting ground troops, knowing they were vulnerable to shoulder-launched missiles. The Stinger was also valuable in protecting cities against low-flying cruise missiles. BGM-104 Javelin missile. Approximately $200,000 per missile, $120,000 for command launch units. Over 10,000 units in Ukraine. Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine is already going down in history as the biggest tank slaughter Europe has seen since World War II. According to reports, Russia has lost more than 3,000 tanks since the war began. $200,000 per missile can sound expensive for a shoulder-launched weapon, but remember, it is capable of destroying million-dollar tanks. BGM-104 Javelin is one of the top contributors to Russia's staggering tank losses. This system was developed in the latter years of the Cold War to fulfill the role of a man-portable and mobile anti-tank weapon that would allow individual soldiers to quickly target tanks and escape to cover before being seen. And that is almost the textbook definition of combat in Ukraine, where infantry support for Russian armor failed, turning tanks into prey. The Javelin system consists of a reusable command launch unit, or CLU, and modular missile enclosed in a disposable launch tube assembly. It can be fired from a crouch or even a seated position. The fact that the tube is detachable makes the CLU by itself an incredibly useful piece of equipment. With a carry weight of 14 pounds, the CLU incorporates a massive target acquisition and fire control unit with integrated day sight and thermal imaging capabilities. Javelin, when loaded with a missile, weighs in at 50 pounds, and most of the weight comes from the missile. Despite this figure, it is still light enough for a single soldier to move around the battlefield, enabling guerrilla warfare tactics to be used against an invading army. This weapon is a fire-and-forget missile, capable of guiding itself to the most vulnerable region of the tank. The user can select a firing mode with two options, direct and top, which change the trajectories depending on the object being targeted or the surrounding area. The top trajectory is ideal as it targets the least protected section of a tank. But top may not always be possible. The target could be under an overpass or some other obstacle. The directional pad allows the user to adjust gates manually around the perimeter of the target's profile. Once locked, the image is saved into the seeker and the user can pull the trigger. Things happen extremely fast after this. A launch motor fires, pushing the seeker out of the tube with just enough force to get it clear of anyone nearby about 4.5 meters. This is an incredibly useful feature that minimizes recoil and makes the system very easy to use. Early in the war, Russian tactics often relied on poorly guarded convoys traveling along major roads. Ukrainian units could deploy javelins, fire from concealed positions, and relocate easily without being exposed to return fire. This forced Russia to adjust, leading to slower advances and higher losses. Javelin's success became a huge morale boost for Ukrainian soldiers, and the image of destroyed Russian tanks burned the Javelin into the public consciousness. The Javelin has acquired such a literally iconic place in the Ukrainian arsenal that a piece of mock traditional religious art depicting Madonna holding a javelin was created. M142 HIMARS, $4.3 million per vehicle, 39 units in Ukraine. Manufacturer Lockheed Martin describes the M142 HIMARS multiple rocket launcher as having shoot and scoot capability, referring to the fact that it is a highly mobile weapons system that can fire and retreat at speed. That is exactly what this system has been doing in Ukraine for the past 2 years. Ukraine used HIMARS to strike Russian logistical hubs, ammunition depots, command centers, and key bridges deep behind enemy lines. Using superior range and accurate real-time intelligence, HIMARS destroyed numerous Russian artillery systems. The system is made up of a MIM-104 truck frame, a fire control system, or FCS, that computes all fire mission data, and a launcher loader module, or LLM, portion that executes all fire mission-related tasks. HIMARS' ability to deploy, shoot, move, and reload in a few minutes significantly hinders an enemy's ability to find and target the system. Furthermore, the HIMARS launcher can aim at a target in just 16 seconds. HIMARS carries a 6-pack of GMLRS rockets, or one TACMS missile, and is designed to launch the entire MLRS family of munitions. Most of the GMLRS series rockets the system fires have an effective range of up to 57 miles. However, the most effective and feared missile HIMARS launches is the ATACMS. The MGM-140 ATACMS is a versatile missile system designed for all weather conditions. allowing for precision strikes against targets located far from the front lines. This capability is particularly advantageous for Ukraine given its climate, which makes air-launched attacks less feasible for a significant part of the year. With a unit cost of nearly $1.5 million, ATA CMS is far from inexpensive. HIMARS strikes inflicted devastating losses on Russian units and forced adjustments in their strategies. Russia moved ammunition depots farther back, further complicating logistics. MIM-104 Patriot, estimated cost of $1.2 billion per system, with missiles costing up to $4 million each. One unit by US and 4 others. This is the most expensive weapon system the US and its allies contributed to Ukraine. To put it into perspective, each Patriot battery costs more than 20 F-16 fighters. But it's worth that hefty price tag. Shortly after becoming operational, one of Ukraine's Patriot batteries near Kiev identified over a dozen incoming Russian missiles from approximately 125 miles away. All were intercepted. Patriot is an acronym for Phased Array Tracking Radar for Intercept on Targets. Patriot systems have 4 operational functions: communications, command and control, radar surveillance, and missile interceptor guidance. It is a modular and mobile system. In less than an hour, a battery-sized element can be installed. The fire control section, radar set, engagement control station, antenna mast group, electric power plant, and launchers are all truck or trailer mounted. The heart of the Patriot battery is the fire control section. The AN-MPQ-53 or -65/65A radar set, or RS, provides detection and tracking of targets as well as fire control. The phased array radar helps guide interceptors to their targets and is resistant to jamming. The radar detects fighters at a range of 68 to 81 miles, bombers at a range of 99 to 118 miles, missiles at a range of 53 to 62 miles, and warhead of the missile at a range of 37 to 43 miles. An AN-MSQ-104 Engagement Control Station, or ECS, calculates trajectories for interceptors and controls the launching sequence. It communicates with the launcher stations and other Patriot batteries. It is the only manned station in a Patriot fire unit. The system's missiles are transported to and launched from the M901 Launching Station, or LS, which can carry up to 4 PAC-2 missiles, the M902 LS with 16 PAC-3 missiles, or the M903 LS, which can be configured to carry PAC-2, PAC-3, and MSE/Sky Scepter missiles in various combinations. The phased array radar set tracks the Patriot missile after it is launched. The interceptor missile's active seeker will direct the missile to the target as it approaches. A PAC-2 Patriot missile will detonate near the threat missile, whereas a PAC-3 Patriot missile will attempt to impact the threat ballistic missile's warhead. The PAC-3's radar has improved detection and tracking ranges. It also has better discrimination capabilities. The radar can tell whether the aircraft is manned or not, as well as which of several re-entering ballistic objects is carrying ordnance. Additionally, the PAC-3 software ensures that ballistic missiles with chemical warheads or early release submunitions are destroyed at a specific altitude. It has a range of about 24.8 miles, an altitude of 12.4 miles, and can reach speeds of up to Mach 4.1. So, what do you think about these weapon systems? What other pieces of military hardware would you like us to cover in our future episodes? Also, if you were lucky to see one of these weapon systems up close, or better yet, used or served in one, please comment.
Hey, you have to move up. Wait, you gotta move up. Hey, you gotta move up.